1946, the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, has been central to improving global literacy, which is now part of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal Program, adopted in 2015. The 8th of September is marked as UNESCO International Literacy Day. What is the significance of the day? What role does literacy play in nation building? And what are the factors that hinder literacy development in Nigeria? This is our focus on Panorama today. I am Jummai Yusuf. National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshiomhole, says reconciling him and his successor, Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki, requires conscious efforts by both of them to submit themselves before an reconciliation committee. Addressing journalists in Abuja, Oshiomhole blamed the administration of Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki for its departure and refusal to build on the foundation for good governance laid by his administration for 8 years.
I think what is at stake is not about me or Obaseki. It's about what is right, what is wrong, what is moral, what is immoral, what is lawful, what is unlawful. And I'm happy that 4 governors offered to join us to hold that kind of meeting because they, being ranking governors, they know the danger of a faction. I cannot decree it. I can't command people, go this way, don't go this way. But once we have built peace and we restore unity and internal cohesion within the party, the governor will have no problem whatsoever. But to think that you just take photo opportunity, tantamount to settlement, amount to self-deceit. I don't deceive myself. I think that we can talk through this issue. There is nothing fundamental, as you can see, about them. They are issues that can easily be resolved, and I'm still very, very confident that they will be resolved to the benefit of all, particularly the governor himself. As we march toward 2020, we need unity within the party.
Oshiomhole is calling on Governor Obaseki to review the process by which Edo State House of Assembly was constituted, create job opportunities for the people, as well as step up his game in infrastructural development. The phase 1 of the Rural Electrification Agency Energizing Education program set up to develop off-grid power solutions for the generation and provision of sustainable power supply to 37 federal universities and 7 university teaching hospitals across the country has started yielding positive results. One of such is Bayero University, Kano, where 7.1 megawatt solar hybrid power plant was inaugurated. Mohammed Rabiu Ali reports.
This is Bayero University, Kano, northwest Nigeria. But over the years, the university has been grappling with perennial power supply until the coming of the present administration, which provides an opportunity of sustainable power supply to 37 federal universities and 7 university teaching hospitals across the country. The inauguration of 7.1 megawatts capacity solar hybrid power plant at the Bayero University, Kano, will provide uninterrupted power supply.
If we had what students are saying actually in the rooms, in the hostel, is something very, very encouraging.
Because now that there will be power supply in the hostel, no need to go to street lights to read.
This project actually is marvelous. It's amazing because it's the largest in Africa.
Yasmin Mukhtar is one among 20 female students that have participated for STEM internship program.
The internship has been of so much importance to me because I have now learned to explore and read more about my course and to appreciate it. I have now so much passion on power systems engineering, which I didn't have before.
Managing Director, Rural Electrification Agency, Damilola Ogumbi, says powering Nigerian universities under Energizing Education program is not negotiable.
Therefore, we must rehabilitate existing electricity distribution networks within the universities, illuminate the campuses for improved security, and construct renewable energy centers to make sure the development of all in the universities in terms of research are followed.
The immediate and obvious consequence of this project is that it will improve power supply to the university.
The Rural Electrification Agency Energizing Education Program is not only empowering girl child but fostering gender inclusion in the power sector. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Now to some sharing news to farmers at Plateau State. Farmers and youth have many reasons to smile as the Central Bank of Nigeria is set to give a loan of 1.5 billion under the Accelerated Agricultural Development Scheme. Mr. Musuf Dunia, branch controller CBN, dropped the good news when he led members of the Financial Inclusion Committee on a courtesy call on Governor Simon Lalong at the Government House, Little Rayfield Jos.
Any support that the state government is giving to us, educating them in terms of entrepreneurial and going to not be a waste of resources.
Governor Lalong also asked for the CBN to order commercial banks to revert to closing hours of 4 p.m. since peace has returned to the state. He says the people of Plateau State are shortchanged from participating in banking activities.
Complain to you that for a very long time during the crisis, the CBN, the bank stopped working, and they closed by 3. I addressed this matter with the CBN governor, and I see that the banks are still closing by 3. Just Plateau State, there is relative peace now in the state, except if somebody else is telling us that Plateau is in crisis.
Now to our focus on Panorama today. The 8th of September is globally marked as International Literacy Day to raise awareness on issues concerning adult and child literacy. Since 1946, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, has been working to improve global literacy, which is the goal 4 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals adopted in 2015. The 2019 commemoration focuses on literacy and multilingualism, and the Nigerian government, through the National Commission for Mass Literacy, Adult and Non-Formal Education, is soliciting more commitment from all tiers of government and the private sector in tackling the literacy challenge in the country. Still on education, Primate of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, Most Reverend Nicholas Oko, has identified discipline as the missing link in the quest for improved quality in Nigeria's educational system. He made the remark during the dedication of the Anglican International Academy in Abuja. Victor Azu reports.
Experts and analysts have identified proliferation of schools, poor funding and poor infrastructure as some of the challenges bedeviling Nigeria's education system. But that's not all. Indiscipline has been added to the number by the Primate, Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, Most Reverend Nicholas Oko.
We need to enforce discipline because before exam is set, it is leaked already. And people copy. So if Nigerians want to really have quality education, we must enforce discipline in the home, discipline in the school. Any teacher or lecturer who is known to have leaked exams must be dealt with summarily.
In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
And joining me in the studio to talk more on the International Literacy Day is our guest, Dr. Adamu Jato Noma, Director, FCT Universal Basic Education Board. You're welcome to Panorama.
Thank you.
Let's begin with the distinction between literacy and education, and what role does education play in nation building?
Thank you very much. When you say education, you are talking about those processes that are involved in the transformation of any human being so that he or she becomes a useful member of the society. But literacy is just an aspect. It's just that one aspect that you give to somebody so that that person will become a useful member of the society. That is the ability to be able to read and write. It's just that is literacy. So it is just an aspect of education.
So what does it play in nation building?
Oh, it is very, very important. You can imagine if you can imagine somebody who cannot read and write. Now, give him anything, you will not be able to give interpretation. Even road signs, communication, he cannot write letter, you can't do anything. The only means of communication is just through verbal. Apart from that, you will not be able to say anything. There are so many things that you don't need anybody to to tell you do this. You can go through what is written and you read it up on your own, and you'll be able to understand. So there is a need for everybody to be able to read and write, so that he will be a very useful member of the society.
Stakeholders in the educational sector has always advocated for training and retraining of teachers. So what are the factors that hinder literacy development in Nigeria, apart from that?
Well, I think maybe people are not really paying attention to that. You see, there is this slogan in the adult literacy program that everybody should endeavor to teach one. That if all the literate people in Nigeria can teach, if everybody can endeavor to teach one, if you teach one today and that person becomes literate, he too goes to teach another person. Before you know, everybody will become literate. Everybody will be able to read and write in the society. So it's just that negligence of everybody, not only government, but everybody, because it doesn't cost you sometimes anything for you to teach somebody to be able to read and write. In fact, while you are sitting under a tree, while you are sitting relaxing with anybody, you'll be able to teach somebody on how to read and write at home, at no cost to anybody. So it is not only government alone that you should be able to teach people on how to read and write. It is the responsibility of everybody that is already literate that should be able to teach other colleagues of his on how to read and write.
Exactly. So, English is our official language, and some people say the language barrier is not really improving literacy in Nigeria. Like, topics or lessons should be taught in our mother tongue. What's your take on that?
When we are talking about literacy, language shouldn't be a barrier. But we know that, when you are talking about, literacy in multilingual society like ours, sometimes you see it as a problem. See it as a problem because, we have adopted, for instance, in Nigeria, English as our lingua franca, while we have so many other languages. Other languages are dying, but how many people speak their own local languages in their own families, in their own homes? No, very few people, very few people. There are so many tribes in Nigeria today that, in fact, especially the educated people, the elites, they speak English or pidgin English in their houses. So the issue of local languages does not come. So you find out that people, very, very few people will be able to read and write in their own local languages. Very, very few. I was just mentioning it elsewhere yesterday that somebody is conducting a research to see how many people communicate, even using social media, in their own local languages. And that person is already telling us that what he has discovered is that majority of Nigerians, they either write text messages either in English or pidgin English, except very few in the north where Hausa is used. But even in the southwest, where there are most educated people, where we find most educated people in Nigeria, when they even send text messages, they don't use their local languages. It is either English or pidgin English. And of course, in the southeast, that one is not anything. It is almost not there at all. They either use English or pidgin English.
So what has been done to encourage learning and teaching our various mother tongues in Nigeria?
Well, for us as teachers, it is we are doing the best we can to make sure that all languages are given that opportunity. But just as I say, it starts from the home. People, you bring children who come from their homes and they don't even understand their own languages. How can you come to school and say you want to teach them that language? It is very, very difficult. What we do in school, we build on what is already taught at home, what children are learning at home. You come to school, we now build on what you are learning at home. But if you are bringing somebody to come and learn, let's say, Igbo or Hausa or Yoruba or my own local language there, and my children cannot speak my own
language. What's the local language actually?
Oh, I speak Gade language.
Okay.
I speak Gade
and your
language.
Children speak the language?
All my children speak Gade fluently and they write in Gade language. All my children. Anybody can verify. My children in my family, in my house, we speak my own language. So how many elites do that? Very, very few people do that. You go to, people have adopted English, at the expense of their own local languages. So that is that. So it is difficult for a teacher. So a teacher cannot just jump. Children now come to school and now they say, okay, we are going to learn social language today in the school. It doesn't, it won't work.
So how can Nigeria improve on its literacy statistics, saying the fact that millions of children are out of school, especially the girl child?
Well, we just have to make sure that we make the education very, very accessible affordable to everybody. And for instance, in FCT, what we are doing to make sure that education is very, very accessible and affordable to everybody is to make sure that every community in FCT has a school. In fact, in FCT, we are not only talking about sending children to school, we are taking schools to the children. So we are not only saying go to school. No, we are not sending school. We are not taking school to their doorstep.
I don't understand. Can you explain?
Well, what we are trying to do is that we are not only going to campaign or come out and go to school. No, yes. You don't need to go to anywhere. The school is already at your doorstep. That's what I'm saying. That in every community, we make schools accessible and available to them. And we are trying as much as we can that schools in FCT are accessible and affordable to everybody.
That's
and of good quality.
Yes, yes. And the 2019 theme of International Literacy Day is literacy and multilingualism. Does multilingualism promote on preventing literacy in Nigeria?
Well, you just as I said before, you found out that how many people, even the elite, how many people can write in their own language? Very, very few people, because they don't speak it. So if you cannot, if you don't know how to speak your language, how can you even write in your own language? It is very, very difficult. Even the elite, the elites, you find out. So you find out that it is very, very difficult for us to begin to say we are, trying to promote, local languages in our school. It's difficult. But I want to tell you that even where in schools, where the local languages, for instance, the Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba are even made compulsory. How many, at the end of the day, how many children registered that at the WAEC and NECO level? Very, very few people. They study them because they are made compulsory. But when it comes to now sitting for the final exam, they drop them out.
Thank you so much for your insight on the theme for the 2019 International Literacy Day. Thank you. I've been speaking with Dr. Adamu Jato Noma, Director, FCT Universal Basic Education Board. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
We'll take a break right now. Panorama continues right away.
The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
Thanks for rejoining us. Now, Osun State government has commenced dredging of rivers and waterways in the state as part of measures to stop flooding. The governor, while inspecting the dredging in October, says some buildings may be demolished in the process. Femi Afariogun reports.
Since the last flooding in parts of Osun State, residents have been living in fear due to persistent rain in the last 1 week. To allay the fear, the state government is already taking steps to prevent reoccurrence as it begins dredging of rivers and waterways. Governor Oyetola, while inspecting the dredging exercise in Oshogbo, says it will not hesitate to pull down buildings on waterways to avert flooding, as well as guarantee safety of the people. The governor, an advocate of a clean and green environment, warns people to desist from dumping refuse into waterways to prevent flood. The dredging across the state is expected to last for a few weeks. In Oshogbo, Femi Afariyogun, NTA News.
Internally displaced persons in the 9 local government areas affected by the activities of bandits in Katsina State continue to receive relief materials from government and individuals in the state. Mohammed Saliu Awol reports that the gesture is aimed at complementing federal government's effort in that direction.
The 9 frontline local government areas received over 1 million bags of assorted grains from the Director General Small and Medium Enterprises Duko Umaradda. 100 bags will be distributed to each of the 9 local government areas to cushion the hardship being faced by the internally displaced persons. Receiving the donation, the district head of Bathari, Tukurma Azuruma, commended the federal government's commitment to end banditry in Katsina State. He said current effort of the Katsina State government is yielding positive results as relative peace is gradually returning to the affected communities.
It is part of the duty on us to ensure that we came, we sympathize with the people, and we try to give out whatever we can afford to give out to help the people that were dispersed from their villages.
Some of the benefiting communities expressed appreciation to the federal government, state, and philanthropists for their commitment towards achieving the last peace in the state. In Katsina, Mohammed Salis Awal, NTA News.
For Serena Williams, history must wait again. And for Bianca Andreescu, it might just be starting. The 19-year-old Canadian went toe-to-toe with the legend for a 6-3, 7-5 win in the US Open final. Bianca became the first black player born in the 2000s to win a slam and the first team champ since Maria Shaparova at the 2006 US Open. Williams was swept in a major final for the 4th straight time since returning from life-threatening September 2017 childbirth. Williams played some of her best tennis in the first set after being broken in the opening game. She unraveled in the second before battling back from 1-5 down. The Arthur Ashe Stadium crowd, more than 20,000, became so loud that Andreescu covered her ears. She steadied at 5-all, holding serve and then breaking Williams for the 6th time for the title. And we're not done with sports. Nigerian basketball players to compete at Tokyo Olympics, as Amanze Marcos reports on Sports Update.